All right, so it's a pleasant evening. Well, a pleasant Monday evening to every one of us. Thank you so very much for staying tuned and then joining this evening's masterclass. We held one over the weekend for 7 p.m. If you're watching from Nigeria, well, I know we also have certain international audience watching from Ghana, watching from Nairobi, and then the likes. But I think it's a big pleasure to be on tonight and talking about something we really think it's an important aspect of the veterinary profession as it relates to you being a consultant. Over the weekend, we had a very interesting event. Over 200 people became consultants in the veterinary profession, in the veterinary community. And, it was such a proud moment because we had people become fellow of the College of the Veterinary, fellow of the College of Veterinary Surgeons Nigeria, exactly. People were so proud. People came in, and then the environment was littered because, of course, it's almost like the top thing or the top appellations you will have when you are in the when you're a veterinary doctor and in the veterinary community. So, with a large turnout, it became very apparent for us to bring in, they said, follow who Sabi Road, right? To bring in somebody who has been in this space for a long time and has been doing this batch by batch, the interim secretary of the college, somebody who had been with the college for a long time. And of course, he's also a brother, somebody we also look up to, a senior colleague, a well respected senior colleague in the veterinary sector. I'm talking about no other person other than Dr. Oladotun Fadipe. Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good.
Honestly speaking, it's an exciting moment for me because coming on air to talk about the college is actually a dream come true. Getting to speak to people about the College of Veterinary Surgeons, Nigeria. And honestly, it's an exciting moment. Like you
Yes,
said,
so.
the climax on Saturday was awesome with so many things. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening from here.
Good to have you. People were so happy on Saturday. And by the way, if you've not watched the colorful event on Saturday, it's also available on our channel. We had over 1,200 now watch it, so you could imagine how colorful it is. So again, okay, so let's just dive into the issue. We want to talk about, there are people who will be watching this YouTube live, and then people who also watch the replay, more like they need information on what they need to do. First of all, can non-vet be a failure of the College of Veterinary Surgeons? Let's start with that.
Non-vets can be a fellow, but they call them honorary fellows.
Okay.
Because as we speak, many times when we have convocation,
Mm,
we have looked at people who have actually contributed immensely to the college,
mm,
to the veterinary profession rather,
mm,
and they have made them fellow. I know when we did it in 2013, General Yakubu Gowon, even though he was a non-vet,
mm,
but remembering his role
mm,
when the Veterinary Council was established and the
mm.
decree that was signed into law, he was made an honorary fellow
Fellow.
of the College of Veterinary Surgeons. Yes,
Okay.
they can be, but they are very, very few. And
Mm,
of course, it at the discretion
mm.
of the Veterinary Council of
Council.
Nigeria.
All right, so if you are not Yakubu, go on, General Yakubu, go on, right? It means that you have to at least have the basic element. Oh, okay, something went wrong with your light. We need it back. So if you are not General Yakubu, go on. Well, we don't doubt that you cannot be. You could be, but of course, there are basic things you need to do. And they said first of all is to understand that you have to be a veterinary surgeon. All right, so okay, good. At least we can improvise. Looks like something went wrong with your light, but at least we can see you smile. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So you have to be a vet, right? To be a college,
Exactly.
to be a fellow of the
Yes.
College of Veterinary Surgeons, right?
Yes, to be a fellow of the College of Veterinary Surgeons, you just must be a vet,
Mm,
because you can't be admitted to go to school when you are
mm,
not a vet. It's
mm,
not possible.
mm,
You can't go through the school when you are not a vet.
mm,
So for you to go to the school, you
mm,
must be a vet. And so the first criteria to
mm,
go to the school is
mm.
that you must have a DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. Very, very important.
All right. So
Someone who is not a doctor of veterinary medicine
mm,
cannot be admitted to the school.
okay. So if you have a DVM, right? Is that all, or must you have an MSc? One of the fellows was telling me that you have to have an MSc. Is that really an important criteria to be a fellow of the College of the Veterinary Surgeon of Nigeria?
Okay, as it stands today and over the years, actually, if you have a DVM, because the fellowship program now,
Mm,
as it stands now, has been structured in such a way that you can spend 5 years in the school
mm,
and then you become a fellow. Now, those who are going to spend 5 years are those who just have DVM. However, beyond the fact that you have a DVM, you
mm,
must have what we call 3 years post DVM. So, which means if you graduate in 2021, for instance, and you want to apply, you must wait for 3 years. You must go for your service, and then you must start up something. And by that time, you will have been thinking of what area you want to fit in to become a consultant. So, you need 3 years post DVM to
mm,
be able to enroll as a DVM holder.
mm,
However, if you have beyond your DVM, maybe you
mm,
have a master's, you have a PhD,
mm,
post DVM qualification,
mm,
it will now enable you to be enrolled into the college. But this time around, you are not going to start from year one, you are
mm,
going to start from year three. So,
mm,
which means your additional qualification
mm,
will enable you to skip the first 2 years
mm,
and start from 3 years. So, you are going to just spend 3 years,
mm,
year three, year four, year five.
mm,
But someone who has a DVM will spend 5 years to still get that same fellowship. But when you have a post DVM qualification like masters and
mm,
PhD in your chosen field, because someone will have an MSc in avian medicine and he
mm,
will say he want to do surgery, it doesn't work.
mm,
That your MSc must be relevant to
mm,
that area that you want to specialize on. So if
mm,
you have an MSc in avian medicine, for instance,
mm,
and you want to go into surgery, you must start from year one. It is additional qualification is not relevant to the field you are choosing to pursue.
mm,
So it will not be taken in as a plus for you.
mm,
So someone with a DBM will start from year one, run a 5 years course, but someone with an MSc or a PhD in that particular field will start from year three and run a 3 years training.
mm. All right. So if I get you correctly, if you have a DVM, right, that's about the
Yes,
basic thing you need, but you must
yes,
have like a 3 years post DVM experience before you can apply.
yes,
So you must have
yes,
served. If you are not going to serve, at least you must have like a cumulative 3 years experience. And if
yes,
you're enrolling directly into the College of Veterinary Surgeon without doing your masters, you have a 5 year period, right? But if you have your
yes,
masters in your chosen field, right, then it's going
yes,
to be 3 years. Am I?
yes.
Are we correct?
Very correct.
All right. So please, if you're watching online, I see people online. You can also drop your question in the comment button. I will be going over the comment buttons towards the later part of this information session to ensure that Dr. Fadipe, who is all experienced in this, can take us through this process, and then of course the information becomes valuable to you in subsequent years, or by the time you want to apply. All right, so we now know the durations, right? So what does it entail? How does the application process go? What can you walk us through step by step application process of the College of Veterinary Surgeon?
Okay, good enough. The application had been on. In fact, the admission for this session that is about to commence had been conducted. But as we speak, the door is still open, the window is still open for as many as want to apply. So this information is just coming at the nick of time so that people can still enroll, people can still come on. Now, if anyone that wants to apply, uh, the first thing the person needs to do is to make a payment, because there is a payment for the form. So the person will pay 25,000 naira into a remitter account of the College of Veterinary Surgeons Nigeria. And so when that person has made that payment, the person will contact us, of course, online now, because you don't need to physically be at the headquarters. So the person will reach out to us at the headquarters through online, WhatsApp, message, email, whatever. And then once we get the information that the person is trying to apply, we can now send the form, application form, to whoever is applying. And of course, what we also normally do is that we also send the criteria for admissions too, so that will guide whoever is applying. And the criteria for admission is what we actually want to discuss now. So we are going to, in the criteria, we will now let people know that if you want to apply, the college as it stands today have 4 faculties. We have 4 faculties. You can apply to surgery faculty, you can apply to medicine faculty, you can apply to pathology faculty, and then you can apply to public health and preventive medicine faculty. Now, for each of these
Okay, those
faculties,
faculties are the area of specialization, right?
yes,
Okay, so can you state that again? You can apply to where? Which?
medicine,
Medicine,
surgery,
surgery. Okay, so medicine is different from surgery, not medicine and surgery.
yes. No. Medicine is different from surgery.
Okay, okay.
Then we have pathology,
Pathology, all right.
and then we have public health and preventive medicine.
Okay, so those are the current area of specialization that are available in the College of
Yes,
Veterinary
so
Surgeons.
we call them faculties.
Okay, okay.
Now, within the faculties, we now have sub-specializations. So if you are talking about medicine, for instance,
Mm,
in medicine, we have small animal medicine,
mm,
large animal medicine, avian medicine,
mm,
aquatic medicine,
mm.
wildlife and zoo medicine, and then clinical pharmacology. So we have 4 subspecialties under medicine.
Okay, so the first one you mentioned are the faculties, right?
Yes,
These other ones, so under the faculty are now specializations, area of
exactly,
specialization. All right, all
exactly.
right, all right. So under medicine, you said we have. Can you just list all the faculties and the area of specializations for all those
Okay,
faculties?
okay. Like I said, medicine, we have small animal medicine, large animal medicine, avian medicine, aquatic medicine, zoo and wildlife medicine, and then clinical pharmacology. Those are the 6 areas of specializations that we have currently under medicine.
Mm,
Then when you go to surgery faculty,
mm,
we have small animal surgery,
mm,
large animal surgery,
mm,
we have anesthesiology,
mm,
we have diagnostic imaging,
mm,
and then theriogenology.
mm,
Theriogenology. So we have those 5 areas of specializations under surgery.
mm,
Then when you come to pathology, we have clinical pathology, diagnostic pathology,
mm,
parasitology,
mm,
and microbiology. So we have those 4 area of specializations under pathology faculty.
mm,
And then when you come to public health and preventive medicine, there are just 2. It's either you are going for public health or you are going for preventive medicine and epidemiology. So public health is just split into 2 specializations under the public health faculty. But for surgery, we have 5, medicine, we have 6, pathology, we have 4.
All right, so let's get this clear. So let's assume that now I'm a young vet with 3 years experience post graduation. I pick up a form for 25,000 as you mentioned, and then in the form it will be required. So please, so okay, it's when you pay that you get the form, right? So you can't share a sample of the form with us. Can you
No,
share?
I can share the sample of the form with you, because if the form gets back to us, we can check whether you have made payment or not.
Okay, so that means all right. All right, that's fine. So if I'm applying and I feel, let's say, I want medicine, I will have to choose an area specifically to the experience I have or to the MSc I
Yes,
have. Are we
yes,
correct?
yes, very correct.
All right. So do you reject people's admission?
We do. We reject people's admission if they don't meet up with the admission requirements.
Okay.
Like I said earlier on, we have had people who had their post DVM qualifications in public health and they are applying to medicine. So when the admission comes to medicine, the medicine faculty will refer them back to public health. So when we refer them back to public health, they have two options.
Mm,
The first option is to pick up that option of public health, which is the area of specialization in their post DVM qualification,
mm.
or they start from year one, and
Oh,
run a 5-year program
okay.
in the area they are applying to now. So they have two options.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for exactly for people who are 3 years post DVM and they are applying, we don't reject any of their applications.
Mm,
So if you are 3 years post DVM and you are applying, you are starting afresh, we don't reject because you can go to any area that you want to, since you are starting from the scratch to build it up.
mm.
But when somebody already has a post DVM qualification, we reject his or her admission if the area he or she is applying to is not relevant to the area he or she has a post DVM additional qualification.
Mm, mm. All right. So I know by the end we will move to the fees, but this is not time to move to the fees, how much it is. So how convenient is it for a vet who has, because I noticed that majority of the people who convocated over the weekend were adults, having families, having their business, having their career. How convenient is it to run this program?
As it stands now, we have 4 study centers, which means if you want to do any of this program, you can either go to any of these centers. It's either you go to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria,
Mm,
or you go to University of Ibadan,
mm,
or you go to University of Nigeria Nsukka, or you go to the National Veterinary Research Institute in VOM. So we have 4 study centers. And of course, one of the reasons why some people have not applied is because they consider the place where they will take the program as being far away from their base. So somebody in Maiduguri, for instance, will feel before I leave Maiduguri to go to Zaria is quite a distance. But of course, that was why you can see the way we were celebrating the people that finished, because it takes a whole lot of sacrifice to leave your base and travel down to undergo these trainings. So, but of course, people who are in Zaria, for instance, it's easier for them. People who are in Ibadan, it's easier for them. People who are in Enugu, it's easier for them because of the distance. But people have also knowing what they wanted, have had to travel far. I know of people who, because they wanted more experience, left Nsukka to go to Ibadan and say, let's see what experience we can get from Ibadan. We have been in Nsukka for a very long time. The program is taking place in Nsukka, but see, we want to cross-fertilize ideas in other study centers and campuses. So some people take the pain knowing what they wanted. So people normally we have to travel to those various centers to undergo this training. So those are the study centers we have for now. But we are hoping that in the near future, we'll also be able to expand these study centers based on requests from various institutions.
all right. So what's the time implication? Let's say you enroll is a 3 year program. You have your MSc, so that means you run a 3 year program. So is it weekend
Yes.
classes? Is it daily classes? Is it afternoon classes? Or is it at the discretion of the class?
In an ideal setting, because it's a consultancy program and we call it hands-on, which means you must be seen to be doing something. So it's not a weekend program. It's more or less like an intensive program that once they start, they continue. So it's a daily class thing and a daily lab thing, depending on whether it is going to be in the classes or it's going to be in the lab or it's going to be on the field. because it takes a whole lot of experiences. Because and of course, the experiences one we have vary from one faculty to the other. Take for instance surgery. If somebody is coming in for surgery, that person must be prepared to be in the lab for in the theater almost on a daily basis, because anytime a case is coming, the intern must be seen to be there to participate. And of course, even when they're having other research programs going on, they are also part of it. And of course, they don't just even limit their scope to veterinary sphere alone. They also go to the human teaching hospital to also cross-fertilize ideas with them, on this training. So it's actually an intensive program. I know for the people that do public health, they still go to abattoirs, go to other various areas for practical experiences. So it's actually it's not a weekend program. No, it's actually, in medicine, we don't run much of this weekend thing. We are actually in it because a case can come today and it will not come tomorrow. So you just have to be there, to be seen, to be involved, so that you can get the experience, because you don't know when the cases will come, and you don't know at what point you get some of those things. So it's actually an intensive thing, and I know as many as want to do it, you'll be prepared for something intensive.
That must really, 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 really be an intensive program, because again, if you have to be your time will be needed almost on a daily basis, then it calls for a lot of sacrifice. So maybe probably that's the reason why a lot of them were happy that they finished successfully. All right. So another question I want to ask. So I have a couple of comments up already, but I'm just going to delay for about 5 10 minutes so that we can pick up some of these basic questions. Then we will be done. All right. So I'm presuming that you are already done with university. You're done with your basic DVM. So do people fail? Can you fail? Because we think that we are all adults, so everybody should understand, and you have to pass us if I'm sacrificing. You can't fail somebody's father, right? Do people fail? All right.
Um, People still fail for so many reasons. Um, One thing with DVM holders is that the training they have at the level of DVM is rigorous, and so the chances of failure is very low. However, like I said, for so many obvious reasons, people still fail. Because take for instance, someone enroll for the program, and in the course of the program, he doesn't have time to participate in the program. Definitely by the time the question is being set, it might not be specific. It might just be using residual knowledge to answer. So so sometimes it might not work out that way. Of course, I know of people who will have consulted with their fellow residents and brushing up the idea, and they'll still be able to. But one thing that I know the college has put in place is that for you to pass through the training, you must have 75% attendance. So attendance is actually core in undergoing the program. So if someone is there for the 75% time and is able to participate in everything, the chances of failure is actually very narrow. But like I said, for obvious reasons, people still have cause to fail. And then when they fail, they come for receipt exams. And then many a times, they are able to now pass their exam. So people still fail, but the chances of failure is very narrow for those who are very committed to the program.
Mm. All right. So maybe again. So once you're done, so don't forget they said people still fail. So so you will not think it's going to be jolly jolly all the way. So I want to acknowledge, if you're online, you're watching, you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I think it's a very good time to do that. And then, of course, if you find the information that is coming out from Dr. Fadipe or Ladotun Fadipe very useful, I think it would be a very nice time to give Dr. Fadipe a good thumb up. You can actually do it right now while we are talking. All right. So another thing I also want to ask, I can see a couple of questions already, but we'll leave that till the later moment. So, for can you switch from one study center to the other? Let's assume that you start from University of Ibadan, and then something within the course of that 3 years takes you outside Ibadan to probably closer to Nsukka. Can you switch your study center from Ibadan to Nsukka?
Yes, you can, because the study centers are basically centers that are there for training. And so there's no specific attachment to a particular study centers. In fact, the candidates are the ones that choose their own study center of choice. So it's not as if they were allocated to you. It's something you choose. And of course, if you are in Zaria, for instance, maybe you are doing a program in Zaria, and then you are done with your program and you want to go back to Nsukka, of course, it's just for you to discuss with your head of faculty and let him know that you want to relocate to Nsukka, and that since that same program is being run in Nsukka, you want to participate in Nsukka. That will definitely be granted, for a change of center. So it's possible for a change of center.
All right. So, all right. Thank you so very much for that input. So, what's this consultant thing about? Is it that those of us
Um,
we pure DVM we cannot be consultant? Go ahead, sir.
well, 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 when we talk about consultancy, it means somebody has been able to master the art and somebody has become like a referral point. So, and that is why the fellowship program is slightly different from the academic program where you do MSc and you do your PhD. So, the consultancy thing is actually a status where you become an authority in your field. That is what the program is aimed at, and that is why I said that it's something that you just must be on ground to fully participate, so that you can get the best out of it. Because for you to be a consultant, anytime they say that so person is a fellow in this particular field, people have high expectations. People believe that it's the person is next to God in that particular field. So if they bring any issue to the person should be able to provide solution to it. So being a consultant means somebody has been skilled in his own particular chosen area of socialization, and that person now becomes a reference point, for that particular program. So being a consultant is more or less like being a reference point, just like in the academia too. Of course, they grow up to become professors in their chosen field. So when you are a professor, it means you can profess what you are talking about at any given time. So the same thing also apply to consultants. They also are like professors in their own field, but this time around not in the academic line, but in the professional training program where the hands-on thing is being implemented.
All right. So, so when they say fellow, that's the title, right? Fellow
Yes,
College of Veterinary Surgeons, Nigeria.
yes.
FCCV
CVSN,
SCVSN.
CVSN.
So,
Yes,
so if let's assume, right, that I have an honorary fellow of College of Veterinary. Once I put my name, I'm actually going to add that title, right? DVM FCSVN, right?
yes, yes.
All right, that's a very nice title to have. I look forward to it. All right, so down to the cost. I know a lot of people want to know what it will cost. You've told us that the training form will be around 25. The application form is 25,000, right? So what's the fees like? What are the associated fees like? And how much budget should anybody prepare if the person wants to go through the program, entire program?
Okay, as it stands in our last advertisement, because each time we bring out an advert, those are things we push out so that people can get prepared. Each session, the residents are going to pay a sum of 200,000. So for someone who is coming in year one and is going to run a 5-year program, that person should be prepared to pay 200 times 5. Each session is 200,000. you know, and the 200,000 is divided into two. 150 is tagged the tuition fee, and then 50,000 the examination fee. So that's the breakdown of the 200,000 that we advertise in a lot advertisement to run for 5 years. But for someone who is coming in for a 3-year program, which means he had already had post DVM qualification and is gaining an admission to because we call it fellowship part 1 and part 2. So for somebody who is coming to fellowship part 1, he runs for 5 years. Somebody is coming to fellowship part 2, he runs for 3 years. So the person running for 3 years will pay 200,000 times 3 years, and then that is what is going to be paid. And of course, the breakdown is still the same: 150,000 for the tuition fee, 50,000 for the exam fee. So that's what the fee that is currently being charged is as at the last advertisement for applications.
All right. So if you perhaps have a receipt, are you going to pay for a receipt, or the 200,000, 100 tuition, 50 examination covers for every of those bills?
Very good question. For someone who has a receipt, he pays another 50,000 for the exam.
Whoa.
If he's going to write the exam again, he pays another 50,000 for the exam.
Hmm. So that means if you're watching and you want to enroll, is good and advisable to sit up so that you don't pay any extra cost on it. So, graduation, do you pay any special money for graduation? I saw a lot of
Yes,
gowns that day.
the people that graduated, they paid 150,000 for the convocation. And of course, if you know what this 150,000 naira does, it's large. All of them came done in their gowns. They have their cap, and of course, they also have their tie, the fellow's tie. And added to that, they have what we call the medallion, like a necklace, and then they have what we call the brooch, the badge, and of course, they also go on with a plaque. There's a plaque they can hang on their wall or put on their tables. Of course, they go on with a book of profile of awardee. Of course, they also we go on with their certificates. So all these put together are what they get. After paying the 150,000. So the 150,000 covers all these things, and they go home with it. It's not the gown is for keep. It's not for rent. So all this, and then of course in organizing the program, the venue, the launch, and other things that are attached to it. But I'm foreseeing that there might be a review very soon, because we've been on this 150,000 for over 10 years now. So it's a long time that we've been paying this 150,000.
All right. So you mean all those colorful gowns, they go home with it?
They go on with it too.
It's like wedding gown. They just you are not renting. They go. But okay, so if I'm not sure if this is going to be appropriate, but you can just go and rent, and then wear. So that's very interesting, and it's really very heartwarming. That we are hoping that you will not review very soon, but just in case you get to do some review, at least it's going to be mild. So I'm going to be picking questions now. If you're watching and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, of course we're giving value. So please do hit on the subscription button so that more informations like this, when they come out, valuable information in the animal health community, you will be the first, and then of course one of those very few privileged people to have access to some of this handful of information. Then if you've not given Dr. Oladotun Fadipe a thumb up, I think you should just look below the video you're watching, see the thumb up, and then just click that. That will help more participants watch it, because YouTube will keep the video up for a long time, and then encouraging people to get to know. Then perhaps we can have more consultants in the field helping us improve the entire animal health sector. So I'm going to be picking questions now. I see quite a handful of questions, so I will be scrolling down. I see a lot of commendation. Looking forward to this. Good evening, everyone. Beautiful. What the? Okay, so somebody's saying, what of that's Joseph Onwalu, what of candidates with a lot of experience in the area of specialty? Any? Okay, maybe I really don't understand this. But let's say somebody has been into private practice, small animal private practice, let's say people like Dr. Abiade, right? And they want to apply as they want to be fellow College of Veterinary Surgeons, and you know that they have extensive experience. Can you just waive the 2 years and waive another 2 years and then just give them 1 year and give them fellowship?
I know this agitation has been on ground for long, and I think what the college is trying to do is that for someone who has an experience in a particular field but doesn't have an additional qualification, the college might open up a channel for them to write an exam for that part one. So once they write the exam for the part one and pass, they can now proceed directly to part two without having to go through part one. But as it stands today, the college doesn't have any provision for people to jump the part one without a post DVM qualification. But like I said, as we even speak, I know the Veterinary Council of Nigeria, in its wisdom, has set up a committee to do like a review, so that we can restructure the whole process. And of course, the constant thing in life is change. We are also hoping that there will be an improvement in what we are doing before, because if you ask me as a person, not college now, not officially now, I also believe that someone with an experience in his field should be allowed to start from part two, because experience is actually what they are coming to pick in this place. And like you
Mm.
said, take for example, Dr. Abiade, for instance, if he doesn't have a post DVM, and you tell him to start from part one, he will just, but because he's actually versatile in his field. So I also am, like I said, personally now, speaking for myself, believe that such a thing should be put in place. So like I said, the college that we are going restructuring, we might have that play out. But for now, we don't have that provision. At some time before, the immediate past board was looking at a situation whereby someone can write an exam for part one without necessarily going through the training. Just write the exam, more or less like a qualifying exam for part two. And of course, we know based on their experience, they'll be able to pass and move on with their lives.
Mm. I was tempted when you were talking. It just occurred to me that there's no faculty called entrepreneurship. So people like Dr. Alasa and then Dr. Dunton will have been, but I hope the restructuring will involve more additional faculties. So, Dr. Obinna or Korogo, what's the average cost implication of doing the fellowship program as a DVM? Okay, you have answered that. You said 200,000 per year. So, if you're coming in
Yeah,
just
yes.
with your DVM, of course it's going to take you 200,000 times 5. So that's it. Let me bring up another question. That's Bernard Sunday. Good evening. I did my MSc in animal health and production under Faculty of Veterinary Medicine in University of Nigeria, Nsukka, after obtaining my. Okay, so what's the question? Let me bring up the question. Okay, just a moment. Let me bring up the question. He now said, which faculty should I apply for when applying for the fellowship after my MSc in animal health and production? So, if somebody like this is coming in and wants to be a fellow, what will you advise? He has his master's in animal health and production. Hello, Dr. Fadipe. Whoa, he's frozen. All right, so maybe probably his network, but he's going to be coming back to answer this question. All right, so if you've not subscribed, I think it's a brilliant time to hit on the subscription button. We are offering useful insights into the veterinary community, the animal health community, and even the farming community in general. And then, of course, if you've not given Dr. Fadipe a thumb up based on the information you're hearing, I think it's also going to be a good time to do that. We'll keep your questions pending. I will answer the ones I could answer. So let me bring up Collins while we expect Dr. Fadipe to be back. Collins Odu Chuko said, when is the new admission list coming out? So he said admission is currently ongoing, and then just apply. You still have a little window to make your applications. Once the application is up and is closed, you will be shortlisted for whatever segment or whatever you have applied to, and then your names will be out if you meet the criteria. So Veronica Ochigbo says, please, are forms currently on sale? So the answer for Veronica is a big yes. Forms are currently on sale, and you can, of course, pick up your form. And the person to call, I'm going to be putting Dr. Fadipe's number. I'm going to be reeling out Dr. Fadipe's number. So the form, I need to be sure. I'm going to be putting up Dr. Fadipe's number up so that for every one of us who wants to be part of this can invariably just quickly join up, and we will have you attended to. So I need to be sure why Dr. Fadipe is not up. If you give me a little moment, I'm going to, just a moment. Let me be sure why Dr. Fadipe is not up. Just a moment. Can you all hear me? If you can just hear me, just do a thumb up in the comment button. Can you all hear me? Hello, can you all hear me? Okay. I think Dr. Fadipe is back. I think Dr. Fadipe is back. Just a moment. On his audio. But let me just pick up some of the questions. I'll be sharing Dr. Fadipe's contact online shortly, so that we can all reach him when this is done. But let me pick up all the questions. When Okay, so somebody still asking, when will the form be out for sale? So form is currently out, and you can pick up a form from Dr. Fadipe. I will be sharing his contact shortly. Okay, I think Dr. Fadipe is coming up. Situation that you were on when we first of all started, but let me bring in Dr. Fadipe up. All right, okay, oh, brilliant. We have the light back. And a big apology, we went off, but we are back now, so we can invariably continue. So there are quite a lot of questions coming up. Dr. Fadipe, can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, so I was able to answer a few, and then the few that I will not be able to answer, I guess we can just talk to you directly. So let me bring up Dr. Monday's comment. Well done, sir. Very informative. The program seemed to be heavily academic. Is it possibility of assessing professionals that have great experience in private practice for the fellowship? Wait, let me get this question clear. Is there the possibility of assessing professionals that have great experience in private practice for the fellowship? All right, so I think what Dr. Monday is trying to say is that we have a lot of uh, academic. So the concern is, will it be purely academic again, or can we get people with very good private practice experience come on board? Hello, Dr. Fadipe.
If I can understand the question very well, sir,
Yes, sir.
the question is very similar to what someone asked the other time.
Mm,
That what of somebody who has a very long experience, but doesn't have a post-DVM qualification?
yeah.
And like I said, I also share in their passion, because this is actually a professional program, and of course, experience is very important. So, like I said, as it stands today, if you have that long experience, we don't have a provision for you to uh, come into the part two and continue. But like I said, there was this proposition that was being put in place so that people with experience can just come write the exam for the part one and move on. But I'm sure maybe in the near future we can have a yardstick or a way of assessing, because even though it's a professional training, there is still a need to be able to assess what people have, and be able to translate that into what will qualify them to move forward. So in this kind of a setting, there's a need for assessment, So I'm sure in the near future we will have that put in place. Like I said the other time, talking as me myself, not speaking on what has been is existing. I will also I'm looking forward to a time that will be put in place. Dr. Abiade, like you rightly mentioned, is our Oga, and he in the year he became a fellow was part of the people that were privileged to uh, submit their CV and submit all their experiences, and then we have a body put together, screen their CV and whatever, and then at the end of the day, based on their experiences, they say these people are qualified to become fellows. So he didn't have to go through the school to become a fellow, But those are things that are done at the beginning of a particular program. After some times, when you have enough people who have come in through that door is shut, and then the only door is the door of going through the training and becoming a fellow. So, but I also will not uh, think it's out of place to also have people who have been on the field, who are experienced in their various field, coming into part two based on that experience and continue the fellowship program. But I'm sure in the near future that might be put in place to enable people coming in part two based on experiences from the field to be able to do the training. Since, like someone said, it's not an academic exercise. It's a professional thing, and I'm looking forward to that.
All right. So I think this is going to be the final question because it's almost time. Veronica said there are quite a number of fellows at the University of Agriculture, Makodi. Is there a chance for a study center to be opened there? Makodi people.
Yes, yes, there is because as it stands now, for study centers to be accredited, we have criteria. Of course, the criteria can be reviewed, but we have criteria, and so if Makodi meets up with the criteria, I'm also looking forward to a time where Makodi will become a center because the way it is now. When the college started, we have a particular study center where you go and get trained. If you want to do surgery, everybody must go to ABU. If you want to do medicine, everybody must go to Ibadan. If you want to do pathology, everybody must go to Nsukka. That was how we started. But along the line, Nsukka said, no, we have facilities for other training. Come and accredit us. And the accreditation was done. ABU said, no, we also have facility for other training. ABU was accredited. So the way it stands now, everybody write the same exam. There's what we call a central examination at the end of the day. So since everybody write the same exam, to me, it doesn't really matter which center you go, since all of us will be subjected to the same examination. So if you feel you want to go to Makudi, like I told you earlier on, somebody in Nsukka feel the training I want, I might not be able to get it in Nsukka. Let me go to Ibadan so that I can get that training. So everybody will now choose. When study centers are many, people will now begin to choose which study center to go based on what they think they can get from that study center. So to me, I am not adverse to having more study center, and I know in the near future we are going to definitely have more study center beyond the current one that we have, and then people can make choice of where. But because we have criteria for assessing where can be made a study center. So as at the last time we did accreditation, if you want your place to become a study center, you pay the fee. There's a fee to be paid. Once the center pays that fee, then the accreditation committee will go to that place, assess what they have on ground, and if they are fit to host or be a study center, they are definitely going to be given a study center.
All right. So finally, is there any chance of getting scholarship for the program? Our time is fast spent, but there's still a lot to talk about. Is there a chance? That's by Temi Dayo. Is there a chance? Have you ever given anybody scholarship for the fellowship program?
Well, from the center, we have never given anyone a scholarship, but definitely we all know that many people who are coming in for the program apply for scholarship from various sources. Some apply from their employer, some apply from other sources. So I know definitely very well that there are quite a number of sponsorship that people can get. People who are coming in from the universities apply to the universities and say, we want to go for this professional training to enhance our productivity, and then the university will say, okay, yes, we can sponsor you to go for it. Those who are also coming in from the institute like MVRI and the likes can apply also to the institute to be told. So people can apply. And those who are also coming in from the state service, because we have quite a number of people that have come in for the training from the state services. So they can also apply to their state government, and the state government will grant that they be sponsored. Because I know quite a number of states that have sponsored people to come for the training. So it depends on where people are that can enhance their sponsorship. So people can definitely get sponsorship either from their employers or their institutes. People can get it. But as a college,
Mm.
as a body, we don't give scholarship to people to come and do the training. For
All right.
now,
So,
we don't.
finally, if we have to, a good speaker will say finally like three times, right? If we want to contact anybody for further information, what number would that be? Can you help us dictate a number? So, if we want to reach you for more information,
Okay.
so can you
Okay.
tell us your number?
Okay, I can give my number so that people can reach me,
Okay.
and of course we can pick it up from there. My number is 080
Okay.
65
65. Go ahead.
51
51. All right.
27
27.
28.
28. That's
Yeah.
Dr. Fadipe. I'm putting that on the chat board. And then while Dr. Fadipe was saying, talking, I just figure out that it will also be a nice experience to bring in like five fellows and we can have an interactive session. So if you're going to be up tomorrow by 8 p.m., I will be selecting five fellows to come and share 5 minutes experience with us, how the fellowship program were, how useful it was for them, and then I'm not going to be sharing any flyer or just understand that by 8 o'clock I'll be bringing in people to share their experience on this live channel. So, Dr. Fadipe, I want to thank you so very much for this awesome and amazing time. You kept people, you sustained people for a long time because people were interested in this information. And we hope with this valuable information you've added to the community's knowledge on what the College of Veterinary Surgeons stands to benefit and who consultants are and how people need to pick up this form, go through this process, and then help us enrich the quality of veterinarians we have in the college. So we can't thank you enough, sir. Thank you for sparing your 1 hour to talk with us. And then we hope that more people will reach you to get this done. And if you're watching, we like to, and you've not subscribed, I think it is, as I said initially, it's a good time to hit on the subscription button, especially for tomorrow's experience sharing session. I believe you will love it, hearing from fellows themselves. Then you could ask questions more from the participant point of view. We are going to be having that tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying through. Any final word, Dr. Fadipe?
Well, it's just to appreciate as many as kept faith with us and were able to come on live to watch, and as many as we still watch, because I know because of one reason or the
Exactly.
other, people might not be able to join us live, but they will still watch, and to encourage them that there is no end to learning. People should keep learning. Whatever opportunity avails for them to learn, it's actually an opportunity to grow. So learning, if you learn, they say a leader is somebody who is learning is a leader. So there is no end to learning. People should make out time, and learning is not easy. It's cause for sacrifices, but you can see the joy on people's faces. That Saturday, a
Exactly.
lot of people were beaming with joy because they've had to pay the sacrifice, they've had to pay the price. They have had to sacrifice a lot. It was not convenient at all. One songwriter says nothing good comes easy. So but in the end, they will actually look back and say it's worth the experience. I want to appreciate as many as had gone through the program too, because I know at one point or the other, some people were discouraged and were able to encourage them. And today they are looking back and say, thank you for the encouragement. It's actually a thing of joy to see people going to the program. Incidentally, Madam President also the president of
Yes,
Veterinary Council went to the
exactly.
program. Yes, and of course I could understand with her. Madam is very busy, but you can see if Madam can go through the program, then I believe any other person should also create time to go to the program. She's
Mm,
not. It's not as if there's anything, but just because I know her nature of busy schedules, and like you saw Dr. Gane Nauru and so many people,
mm.
that had to go to the program. Leaving your private practice to go to the program is not easy.
Yes.
So quite a lot of people went to the program, and I
Mm,
also encourage others. We can also go through this program, and with that, we will actually make the veterinary profession an enviable one within the society. Once again, I want to appreciate my dear brother for this privilege. I'm not taking it for granted. Like I said, when you told me, I said I long for it because information sharing is something
mm,
I don't joke about.
mm.
So it's an honor to be on this platform, and I know this platform will go places by God's grace because I know you have that mindset of reaching out to people. Very brilliant topics in day in day out to ensure that people get the right knowledge and information. And we are praying that very soon we'll get so many subscribers to this channel,
Thank
and
you.
then we'll continue to grow in leaps and bounds. Thank you very much, sir, and for the honor of being here today.
Brilliant, Dr. Fadipe. Thank you so very much. We believe the community will be very proud of this information. We're proud of you and the good work you're doing in the council, and we say keep it up. To every one of us, good night, and then watch out for tomorrow's experience sharing by 8 p.m. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay, good night.
Good
Thank you
night.
very much.
Thank you too.
Okay, thank you.